One of the reasons why I don't have um, much else in terms of social media presence, that I don't have, a big Facebook page or a Twitter or anything else beyond just the YouTube channel and the Instagram that I update every now and then, is more to do with a fear of having my opinions and views misrepresented. That, in essence, with such a short amount of characters and with um, such a lack of nuance, especially online, it can be difficult to get your opinions expressed across succinctly and to be able to say exactly what you want to say. And in truth, that's often why I think I've enjoyed this process of writing so much. Why I enjoy working on stories that are much longer form novels, even short stories as well, because it allows you to express thoughts and ideas that are very difficult to express in just a few characters. That you can take your time and kind of formulate your entire argument and express everything you are trying to get out, rather than having to fight amongst the noise of everyone else to get a couple little sound bites in on a certain issue or topic. Um, it's occurred to me now that this might have been why, when I was younger, this might have been why I tended to enjoy writing so much. Um, Often when I was a kid, I had a hard time, um, especially like my very young youth, expressing like thoughts and ideas, being able to get across certain concepts verbally. It was somewhat difficult. That I often feel like things I would say aloud would be misinterpreted or misunderstood. And so I think when I was a kid, I often took to the page and I became interested in writing as a means of being able to kind of get my ideas across over the course of a very long time, where I didn't have to think of something very quickly in a short conversation, but I could sort of come up with an idea, refine it, express it in a way that becomes more succinct, but still has enough page space to extrapolate on what I'm trying to get across. Mm. I think that might be one of the worst things that could happen to a person is to have their views misrepresented. Um, it feels like lying almost. It feels like when that happens, that someone can lie to you. It feels like you're put in a very awkward position of needing to defend something that you may not inherently even support in the first place, but that others have come to interpret it that way. Um, Truly, yeah, I think that has to be one of the worst things that can happen to somebody in terms of like public reputation. Worse than even slander, to be honest, is something like that, because it's not just falsity, but it's a lack of understanding about what you are trying to get across. They're not just saying something bad about you. What you are saying about yourself or about your position is not being relayed correctly or being understood correctly. Um, in recent years, I think the amount of writers that there are has like skyrocketed. If you look over the past 20 years, I think the amount of people that have tried to become basically quote unquote wannabe writers, people that want to be writers, um, the numbers has gone up astronomically. If you were to take a look at the data there, and I think the reason for it comes down to that. I think a lot of it comes down to us wanting to be heard, us wanting to have some sort of platform to express our ideas and gain recognition for it, to have our thoughts and opinions expressed clearly in a printed form, and thereby the world can see that. Uh, in addition to, I think the other things like movies and TV, and how when you watch things, you kind of get your imagination starts to kick fire. You know what I mean? Starts to kick off, and you start writing down these different ideas. Certainly, I think that plays a big factor as well. But I think a lot of us just want to be heard. I think in this world right now, I think a lot of us want to have our ideas understood, and want to stand out from the crowd of um, those other voices that seem to drown us out all the time, whether online, whether in our day-to-day life, what have you. It's very rare to stand out. It's very rare to have an idea that stands out, to have an opinion that is well understood and that is kind of separate from the herd itself. It can be difficult. And I think for a lot of us, I think that's what the book represents, what the novel represents, is this need to be heard, to stand out in this world that seems to be more and more cluttered and more homogenous and more groupthink.